Number two, it's about how you section up your presentation. And all of us tend to go into any sort of communication, and I've just done this myself and had to like tell myself off for doing it, with this set of facts or some sort of thing that we want to pass over or we're made to pass over, but we've got a thing that we need to communicate. And it's so easy to start by, hello, everybody, here's this thing I need to tell you about. The thing is, human beings don't really want to be told a fact. They find that very difficult. And when we're telling a story, that is why a story has the flow that it has. A story moves in a very particular way. And if you watch a TV program, you'll see the same flow. If you read a novel, you'll see the same flow. So I'm going to take you through what that flow is. And it's not just the facts. That is your material, if you like. That's the material that you're going to wrap your story around. What we're going to do is we're going to split it into 3 sections. The first section is about why you should care. Why should they care? Why should they listen to you? You've got to create some desire, some appetite, some interest. You've got to give them a hook that will get them to the point where they want to listen to your facts. That's just doing them a favor. They do want to listen, but you've got to help their brain switch into that gear. I think it's good discipline to start watching any TV show, particularly ones after 7. Let's say ones after 7 where they are really fighting for your attention. Daytime shows a little bit, but by 7 it's getting quite an aggressive fight. How do they split up the show? How much time do they spend trying to get your attention, showing you why it's going to be worth watching? Start to take note of that, because that is the amount of time you need to spend making it clear to your audience why it's worth them listening. I mean, so but I did cut down how Succession worked, which was obviously hugely successful, ran for series and series and series on Netflix. And the beginning of it was extraordinary. I think it was a good 15% of the show was either a little something, like an intriguing scene to hook you in, some backstory, but not enough story that you actually knew what the story was. It was enough to go, oh, that's interesting what happened before, but I don't really understand what happened before. And then a couple of easy scenes that were easy to submerge yourselves in, and then the super complicated storyline started. So, you know, if you want to get people's attention, you work very hard. Then we've got this middle section, which will have that information in. It's not all the information. It'll be the small amount of information that actually is what you need. But actually, very importantly, the last section, which is backwards here, but it's the green one, how the future looks. What are they going to do with this information? It's not enough to put it in their lap. You've got to help them imagine what the future looks like now. Hopefully it's something alongside something you're doing. It's you and them, or it's them going out, or it's them talking to their colleagues. But whatever it is, don't presume they're going to do it. Spell it out in that third section. And every story works like that. If you're in a pub and you're telling a story, or a coffee shop, you will start by plenty of hard work at the beginning to get your audience hooked in. Then you will you'll get into the meat of it, and then you'll start to build towards this end point, this where everything will be resolved, and this is the future point that you're looking to do in your presentation. So I'll stop that share so I can see you. So think about that sort of scope, and think about a presentation. or a communication where you've watched it and you know that it hasn't had that front piece where somebody has jumped straight into how what it was, and it hasn't given you the preamble of what it could have been, or why you should know about it. And would you mind just writing in the chat one thing that experience made you feel, whatever that feeling was, negative or positive? Would you mind writing in the chat what the experience has been for you of being in communications where they don't explain what the reason for you listening is? Well, we have, that's interesting. We have a match on our first two comments, which are sleepy and you drift off. So both like disengagement issues. And actually, it's not just disengagement, it actually is undermining the energy that you have to listen. And so that demonstrates what that first section is doing. When I was talking about, giving your audience's brain the equipment it needs to hang on to what you're going to tell them. It's not that they don't want to tell them, but you're actually reducing the energy they've got by not giving them that reason. Yeah, and okay, so that's also true. Andrew was saying you can see it in a conference, you can see when it happens, and of course now there's a physical way that happens. People get onto their phones, and again they don't mean to, but the moment that they're not being engaged, they are sort of looking for whatever that dopamine hit might be, and it's not coming from the talk. So this first section, although it seems like such an effort to write or to prepare something to really spell it out to your audience, why they should care, or hook them in with some anticipation for what's going to come, you are giving them the ramp they need to get into the middle section of what you've got. And if you don't do that, you are likely to be wasting that middle section because you've already lost them. So thank you. Thanks for feeding back your experiences.